On today's episode, we talk about why it's important to learn AI to enhance your abilities, not replace them, and why it's important to pick an AI tool and stick with it. Pick one, learn it, master it as much as you can before you jump around, and how custom AI solutions can automate process. Stick with us. Welcome to the AI Lab Unfiltered podcast. We're going to talk about everything AI today.
Everything.
Lots of stuff AI. I am Drew Veach from BizStream. I am joined by Mr. Pete Terryn from New Wave.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Always this awkward pause when we do that. We got a great episode today. I'm super excited. Before we start, we got to give thanks and praise to Think Tank Thought Leadership. They are the people who produce our podcast. They set this up for us. They helped us roll this entire thing out. We're in the beautiful studio Jefferson, right outside Grand Rapids. And they help us with all of the production, all of the editing, just making sure we're on schedule, just making sure our guests are taken care of. And it's wonderful to have them. They handle all of our publishing. We always say, if you're going to start a podcast, talk to Think Tank Thought Leadership. That's what worked for us. It's a great relationship. It's a very collaborative relationship. We still get to carry out our vision, and they help us do that. Can't speak highly enough for them.
Super helpful. I mean, we literally just walked in here a few minutes ago. The mics are set up, cameras are set up. I mean, we don't have to press record. We don't have to.
They have fancy coffee.
Edit. They have great coffee. If you want to talk about coffee, apparently this is the place to be.
Yeah,
there was like a 10-minute coffee conversation before we started, but we're so thankful for Think Tank Thought Leadership and everything that they've done to help grow this podcast.
Yes.
And I like to say, if you want to be cool, have a podcast. And if you're going to podcast, do it with Think Tank Thought Leadership.
And I always say, if you want to pick up chicks, have a podcast.
Definitely.
It hasn't worked yet.
People say, if you
people tell us that it does.
Yeah.
So today we have an awesome guest, a guy I've known for a long, long time. I've been wanting to get him on here for a long, long time. Mr. Brian Toll from Mutually Human.
Thank
Brian,
you, guys. Great to
welcome.
be here. Yeah, thank you for the coffee.
Yeah.
It's excellent. Yeah. It's good, yeah.
We are going to talk about AI in small business and how small businesses use AI. You've been around the block a little bit.
A few years, yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to get you on the show too, because you understand it, you guys use it, getting the team to adopt it, different tools, different techniques. Tell us about your experience thus far in small business of how you're using it.
Yeah, well, a little background. I'm a software engineer by training. I've been in the industry about 25 years, work with a variety of organizations, big and small, in my day job. At Mutually Human, we work with billion-dollar companies. We work with startups. So it's really, I've seen the gamut. I've seen pretty much everything at this point. And even in big companies, what I'm seeing is individual practitioners are adopting this stuff too. So yes, small business, absolutely. I think you said it can be a level setter.
Yeah.
Totally believe that. But even within big companies, teams, individuals, seeing a huge impact on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel that clearly it's enhancing the employees, what they're doing, what they're producing, what your dev team is doing. Mm-hmm. Do you see it as like, is the hype real? Like, is it, oh my gosh, we're getting so many production gains, or is it more of we're kind of feeling it out, trying to get it to that point? I just feel like there's a lot of hype around, oh, this is going to change everything we do. And then you get into it and you go, oh, I guess it only does part of that.
Yes. Well, I like to think about it this way. Maybe this is helpful. Every person has activities that they do as part of their job, right?
Yep.
And depending on what you do, like, if you're out, building houses, ChatGPT is probably not going to help you do that.
Right.
Although we could talk about that. There's some interesting things that might help you do. But for a lot of knowledge workers, you break your life down into like, I've got to do these 5 things on a regular basis. The odds are that AI is going to help you in at least 1 or 2 of those. And that's going to give you some productivity boost, and probably you're going to like your life a little bit better if you're doing it right.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing we don't talk about enough is satisfaction of our employees. So the hype is like, oh, I'm going to like automate this job away. That's totally not. happening with the current generation of AI, right? There's a lot of reasons technically for that. I think we could get into if we wanted to. But I definitely see, like in software, for example, a regular 25-30% productivity boost in the engineer's life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
There's things like we have to write unit tests. I'm not going to go into what that is, but nobody likes doing it, but you have to do it. AI can automate almost 80% of that. Writing documentation, AI can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. So if you
Nobody likes writing.
nobody likes, no, let's not do that. I want to write code. I don't want to write the documentation for the code. And if you look back the last like 15, 20 years, we're seeing maybe a 1 or 2% productivity boost every couple of years, right? Suddenly in the last 3 years, we've seen like a 25 or 30% boost. And in some tasks, it's like 10x. Like prototyping things is much quicker. So yeah, when I look at that and go, is a 25% productivity boost, is that hype? I don't think so. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to replace somebody? No. So it depends on where your starting point is, I think. So that's on the coding side, but we see that same basic framework of go, yeah, you've got like 3 things that you have to do on a regular basis. AI can help you do 2 of them 50% faster. That's the type of stuff that we're actually starting to see work well.
So to that, because you turn on the TV or you open LinkedIn, you look at an article or you go through your news feed, people are afraid of their roles being replaced by AI and this whole, like you said, automating people out of a job. So you've seen productivity increases from folks. So this is a real life scenario that we could talk through. So have you replaced anyone on staff because you've seen this 30% productivity increase on the coding side?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting. If you think about AI as just another automation technology, if you kind of take away the hype, we've seen this countless times.
That's what I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah, over the last couple hundred years. And I've really been digging into the economics and the kind of the history of that, because I think we can learn a lot by looking back.
Yep.
Our culture doesn't like to do that a lot, but two quick examples of that. So generally speaking, automation can replace something or it can complement something. And so the big question is AI going to replace a job or is it going to complement a job? So I learned, this was really fascinating to me. After the Civil War, the most powerful union in the country was the typesetter union. Like, who would have thought that, right? But it was a massive union and they controlled the flow of information. If you didn't get along with your typesetter, you were not publishing anything, right?
Yeah.
Now, fast forward 100 years, the union was down to maybe 6,000 members in the late 70s and the early 80s, and very diminished in power, and desktop publishing totally replaced that job within 10 years, 5 years. And that union disbanded and they got rolled into the Teamsters, right? So that was an example where, yes, automation totally got rid of a whole category of jobs. Another example are accountants. Right? Back in the 60s and the 50s, we had bookkeepers, right? Somebody like literally had to like enter all the stuff into the paper ledger. And that evolved into modern accounting. And that was an example of complementary automation. And if you just wanted to be a bookkeeper, your job was going away. If you're like, no, I'm going to like tool up and I'm going to learn how to be an accountant, like more money, quite a bit more money over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends. I think we're going to see both with AI. I think there's some people that are they're moving stuff from category A to category B. They're the bookkeepers of the modern era. Those jobs are going away. But most jobs, I think, are going to elevate and move to a very different quality of life. It really is up to the individual how they're going to react to that.
I think you bring up a good point, because I think the hype of, oh, this is going to replace everybody is going away, and it's changing into that, oh, this is going to enhance everybody. And you're right. This has been around for eons. I remember years ago, I was running a large format printing company, and it was all these new machines that came out every year. Well, this takes the place of 5 people that you have on staff, and you'd buy the machine. You'd never get rid of your people. It would just be like, oh, we're just going to do more. Right. We can do more with less, not with less people, with the same amount of people, but we can now produce this amount more. So it just kept enhancing what you could do to build your business. And like you said, it's at the end of the day, it's a tool. that gets employed in there.
Exactly. And I think what's interesting is I think what's compounding the current ethos is just the macroeconomic malaise, right? There's a lot of stuff going on outside of AI. I think once we get through that, we're going to see an explosion of needing people again. Because right now people are like, oh, I need to create efficiencies. The easiest way to do that is to take 25%, maybe get rid of 1 or 2 people or not hire back as quickly.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing the largest companies do is go, hey, if I can learn how to use AI now, like I'll talk about software. I did this. I talked to somebody the other day about this. Imagine if your business had 5x or 10x the capacity for software that you have today. What would that mean to your organization? And this technical leader's eyes just lit up. I think we could crush our competition.
Yeah.
Right. So they're investing now into getting that 25, 30 and more so that when they're ready, they're going to just be able to like throw the hammer down and really move very, very quickly. So that's in software, but I think that same methodology, that same approach is going to be seen in more places.
Across other roles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The lesson here then is learn AI, right? Mm-hmm. Like this retooling that you discussed for those people that want to remain in that role. And we've talked about this before. It's AI is in the near future. AI is not going to replace you, but somebody that can do your role and understands AI and is more productive could replace you.
Yes.
So the real lesson here, folks, is learn. Let's start using this stuff. And there's no shortage of YouTube videos and Reddit posts and all kinds of areas that you can go and for free learn. And I haven't paid for any. I pay for AI subscriptions, but I haven't paid for any kind of training because there's a wealth of knowledge out there that you can easily access and learn about this stuff. So,
and a lot of times it's in the same tool.
Yeah.
ChatGPT can train you how to use itself.
Yeah. And they have a whole university that you can go to and learn. And I would really encourage anybody that's using ChatGPT. I don't know about the other ones. I know Google Gemini has some training, but it's weird. Like it's behind some kind of a paywall. I forget who it's through now. I went to check it out because I was going to recommend it to somebody, but it's paid for. But the ChatGPT one is free, I think, with your subscription. You can
and I'm sure Lovable has a free one too.
Yes, sponsor us, Lovable.
Please sponsor us, Lovable.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what we've just preached this ad nauseum on the podcast here. Is just get into it, just learn something. You'll find your own applications once you learn what AI is capable of, and you'll go through your day. And I've got a little sticky note on my monitor that says, can AI do this? And it's that constant reminder when I'm doing something of, wait a minute, why am I going to spend all this time writing this or researching this when I can just have AI do it for me? Mm-hmm. And you mentioned prototyping earlier. Like if you just go to, I've been using Google's AI Studio, the builder there, and you can just type in what you want a dashboard to look like or a web page to look like, and it'll just build it for you. You've done it. Mm-hmm. You have a great story of doing it in a meeting and building a website for an association like in the meeting. And it just blows people's minds of the capabilities. And that's why we talk about this stuff, so we can open people's horizons as to what AI can do.
And that was literally, I used Lovable in a meeting. I was in a committee meeting. And they said, well, Drew, you work at a web company. Can you guys build us a website? And I thought, this tool just came out, Lovable. And this is like a year ago. This tool just came out a week ago. And I'm thinking to myself, and they sent me a couple PDFs and like, here's a logo and, use these types of things. I literally just shoved it in and said, build me a 1-page website. And I turned my computer around about 30 seconds later and said, like this? And they were like, how did you already build that?
What did you just do?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, I have no idea.
What
I
is
literally
this dark
just
magic?
threw it in this thing. So it's the productivity is definitely there. Now, was it perfect? Not by a long shot. But it gets you that, we always say, gets you that 80% of the way there very quickly. The last 20% is where the details come in. And I think that's where it enhances people, because you still need that person then to carry that torch.
Absolutely,
to get across that finish
again, if you
line.
think about what you do, you are a combination of your skills and your experience and your judgment. AI does not have your skills. They definitely don't have your judgment, right?
Yeah.
But what I
That's a good perspective.
Yeah, and I think what people do is they don't lean into that. They lean into their skills. And what I see with software developers, some people just love to create, right? You just did described as a great example where like, hey, I'm okay if the AI is producing a lot of the stuff for me. I don't really need to be hands-on to feel good about myself. A lot of developers, and I think a lot of people in general are like, no. My value comes from doing the thing. You're taking the thing away from me. Like, yeah, I am, because that's not really where the value came from.
Yeah.
Right. AI is a faster typer, but if I'm still coming up with the code, if I'm still coming up with the thoughts for the essay that I'm writing, if I'm still directing it to come up with the analysis, that's where the value is. But that's a really hard leap. I've seen almost every software engineer who's ultimately embraced it, they go through like a 2 or 3 day personal crisis. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, it's really, really weird where it's like, okay, I got to do this. I'm going to do it. They get into it. They use the tools. And it's like, holy cow, I'm moving fast. I'm creating these websites, right? I'm creating this thing. Do I need to be here? And you just kind of see them like, and then they fight through that because then they realize, okay, no, I'm still the one directing this. I'm still the author. I just now have a really fast book learned but street stupid intern that can help me get this stuff done.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned that you do have coders that have adopted AI and are using it. Do you have resistance in there as well? Like some folks that just are like, I don't know, I'm just not there yet. I'm just going to do it the old way.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think it's a journey. I don't think it's like a certain personality type. I think it's like my value came from, the thing I did. That thing is changing. So it's a who moved my cheese situation, right? That classic business book from the 80s. So again, nothing's new. So I think you got to come in as a leader and have a lot of empathy, and you got to give people the tools and the emotional space to go through that journey. But then also you got to go like, this is the journey, guys. Yeah, like bookkeepers aren't going to be a thing. Typesetters aren't going to be a thing here.
Yeah.
You can either evolve and probably have a better life. Like in general, people who've gone through that evolution with software, they're less stressed, they're producing more, they're moving at a higher level. But they're giving up some control, and that's the part that's hard for people.
I've said that about, I think I've mentioned it on the show before. I knew some writers, some really good content writers, and they're going, well, AI is not as good as people, and it was a complete threat to them, and it should have been. And this is a while back when ChatGPT first started coming out, where it's like, oh my gosh, I can write stuff with it. And they were feeling very threatened with this new tool that's going to quote unquote replace them. And I said, don't think of it that way. Think of it as how it, again, going back to how it can enhance you. Say, how good I can write as a professional writer myself. Now with this tool, I can do it times 10. So your content can be even better, quicker, and faster. I can write a ton more for you because I can use this tool better than the average person that's going to put junk in there to try and get it started.
Totally.
And it just totally changed their perspective. Like, I've never thought of it that way. I'm like, you should be using this. You should be pushing it that you can use this because it can enhance what you do so much more.
Yeah, totally. But it goes back to that self-worth. Like, where does the value come from?
Yeah.
This was years ago. My sister-in-law is in editing, publishing books and stuff like that. And we had this family debate on a vacation one time of like authorship versus writers. Because a lot of books, shocking, right, aren't actually written by the person with a name on the book. Right. There's a ghostwriter or not even a named ghostwriter. So there's this question of authorship, of who came up with the ideas and who structured all that stuff versus the person who like actually smashed out the keys.
Yeah.
And I think that's the crisis now that a lot of people are going through. It's like, oh, I smashed the keys. I got the value.
Another
of that.
good perspective, Brian. That's why I wanted you on here. Damn it, that's why I wanted you on here.
It's about damn time. So productivity increase, you've seen measured increase there. What about the quality of the work? Have you seen an increase there as well?
That's a really interesting question. Yes, but you have to be very, very mindful of that. So like in software, we're reading a lot more code than writing. I talked with one of my director of AI yesterday, who's just a mastermind of using this stuff to produce code. And he's like, if it's more than like 4 lines of code, Brian, I'm having the AI do it. It's stupid to have me actually write that stuff. But he's looking at that. He's going, no, that's not right. And this thing is, why did back to your example, Drew, of like creating the website, but don't look under the covers.
Yeah.
With software, it's like we're looking at what it's producing all the time, and we're course correcting and we're tweaking that. And the other problem that we haven't really solved yet is the volume of code we're producing. We're used to, I think, 5 years ago, the average developer produced abysmal. It was like 10 lines of code, just a very, very small amount of code, because it's so hard to change code and make sure it doesn't break, right? Now, I prototyped something yesterday. I was curious because I know I was coming on the podcast. It was 6,500 lines of code I produced yesterday. How do I review that for quality?
Right.
How do I make sure that it's all there? I saw a really interesting article last week, the week before, around comprehension debt, right? I can't understand all this stuff at the rate I'm able to produce it. And so if you don't really kind of slow that down, like we're having to artificial throttle what we can produce so that the human can go through and review it. And I think that's the next evolution too. How do we use AI to review what AI produced?
Yeah.
And even elevate that.
Well, that going back to the what's my worth, and we use the term human in the loop a lot here too. You just described that. So the AI is writing the code, but the real quality check is coming from a human that understands code, has been writing it for years. And that's where the value is. It's not, because literally anybody can just write a shit ton of code, but who's going to check to see if it's safe? Nobody should trust me to write their website or any kind of program for them, because I don't understand code at all. But I can generate tons of it.
Right.
I need somebody that understands it to do that quality check and look at it to say, yeah, somebody could totally hack this and steal all your data the way that this is written. Okay, that's
it's not going to be scalable, maintainable.
Yeah.
What I love is like that amateur software task, right? Like you've got an idea in your head. You used to have to like tell me what that is.
Yeah.
It would take a long time. Now you can just go, sorry, Emily. We talked about that.
We told you not to tap on the table.
Right. But just imagine I'm typing, right? You do that, and then you can show it to me and go, oh, I know what you mean.
Rapid prototype it, yeah.
Exactly. And now I can actually produce a product out of that.
Yeah.
Right.
I just did this last week. So it's budget season, right? So all the finance teams across the country are, getting things ready for 2026 and getting their budget set up. And so I was talking to our finance manager, and our president had actually said, hey, could you just talk to her and see if there's anything that you could help AI with budgeting? So I went to AI Studio and Google and just mocked up a budget dashboard that I thought could be useful for them. I never could have, I would have just, first of all, he never would have approached me in the past to say, hey, can you help out finance to budget? But the idea that I could now show you what it looks like, and you can click around and do things, and the graphs move when you adjust numbers, and you can put your assumptions in, and that edits the budget and everything. And I can show you that, and you can say, yeah, that would actually work, or no, that's not really going to save me any time. It didn't take me a lot of time to put like the basic thing together. Iterations are where more of my time has come. And then at some point, somebody that knows what the hell they're doing has to look at it and make it actually work and have it so they can have access to it and all that. But I think, I think this is going to be the era of creative people, because you can now bring your ideas to life so much easier. So for the creatives out there and these writers, I think this is huge for them, because you can now turn your ideas into something visual that it really appeals more to visual people, and it's just a lot more useful.
Absolutely.
Which I think is insane, because having this conversation less than a year ago, we said it's never going to replace any kind of creative anything. Now, not even from a software creativity and prototyping standpoint, but images, video, all that. And I feel like we have doubled or tripled down on that alone, with now Nano Banana coming out, and what was the one that just launched literally, I think Monday? I think Gemini's
new image generator,
which
just
is
launched,
awesome.
which now is supposed to blow away Nano, and it's like we have like doubled down on what it can do creatively and replace that. Almost like it was a challenge. Like, don't tell me you can't do it. Here's how we're going to do it. Versus text or versus hard coding. Even I just feel like we have just massively excelled in that area of it.
I want to spend just a second on what you just talked about because
Nano banana.
Yeah, so Nano Banana
Great name. They
for
finally got the name right. Like
Yeah.
all these like 001.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like Nano Banana. Yeah. Okay.
Make it creative.
So you just like saying it. It's
Exactly.
like, yeah. So I pay for currently 3 subscriptions: Perplexity, Google's Gemini, and ChatGPT. But I would bounce if I did anything with image generation, because I'm like my daily driver is ChatGPT. That's where I live most of my time. But if I wanted to do anything with an image or video, I would go to Google because their Gemini, it was like VO3 for video and Nano Banana for images, because it was just so much better. And people are asking us all the time, like, what should I use? And especially if you're working with companies on their AI strategy and they have a lot of questions about which model should they use. And it really, the advice lately has been just pick one and stick with it, because whatever the other model is better at, the model that you're using will eventually leapfrog them and do that. So I think it's important because a lot of people have that question. Like if they haven't started yet, they're like, which tool should I use? You can't go wrong. All the major players are going to keep leapfrogging each other with capabilities. And this image generation from ChatGPT is, I think, the perfect example of that, because they were behind. Their image generation sucked for a long time. And now it's the clubhouse leader. So just pick one, stick with it.
We have been pretty big proponents about sticking with one tool. Use ChatGPT. I'd rather see you become efficient in that tool, even though it might be lagging behind every once in a while for a week and a half.
Yeah.
Versus you're skipping around to all of them and it's kind of jack of all trades and you're still not getting any efficiency out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
That's the key. Honestly, like they're a commodity. I really don't care, right? Like my go-to is Claude, but that's just me because what I'm doing. Like they all have a slightly different flavor. Like when we're writing code, ChatGPT 5 does a pretty good job, but it's very terse. It's like, okay, you want this thing? Here's this thing. And Claude is like, oh, you want this thing? And I'm going to put like flowers on it. And and sometimes you want that. So there's some nuance there to be sure. But it's a commodity, right? Like when we're doing production stuff, it's really about the FinOps side of that. It's like, okay, how much is this costing me?
Yeah.
Right. How do what's the cheapest, best model I can use, not just the max it out. So that's I think where we're going to go through, but we're all learning, right? So like just pick a tool, figure out like, what do you hate doing? I think that's the best place to start. Like what's a task that you just despise doing? How can AI help you with that? That's when you start to go, oh, okay, I can see that. Now I have like more time for stuff I actually am good at or stuff I really care about.
Yeah.
That's, I think, how you get people into this stuff.
So let me flip the coin then. Where do you see the biggest risk using AI? We keep talking about how great it is, and it is. It's awesome. But where do you see the biggest risk using it?
Yeah. So it is a prediction engine. All AI predicts something, right? And there's the first AI conference I think was 1957, and a bunch of really smart guys in the computer science industry got together in academia and said, yeah, there's something here. What should we call this? Is it artificial intelligence or applied statistics? And they had this really interesting debate, and artificial intelligence kind of captures the imagination, right? Because it makes us think that there's like a little mini brain inside the computer. At the end of the day, it's stats, guys. Like it's calculus and it's stats. That's all this is. So it's based on your input, your prompt, or whatever content you gave it. It's predicting the next thing, the next word, the next pixel that needs to be in the image, and it's going to predict wrong. That's just life. Right? It's going to make a mistake and people go, oh, see, the AI is stupid. I'm like, well, honestly, if almost every single time I did that, you either asked a stupid question, like, is there life on Mars? We don't know that. Right? Or you did not give the model enough data to statistically produce the right outcome. Like, I know that's a little nerdy and stuff, but that's really kind of the key there. So, I lost the thread there. What was the question?
The risk.
What's the risk?
Thank you.
Using
Thank
AI?
you. Yeah. So the risk is trusting the bot or trying to do too much too quickly. Like you're much better breaking the task up into small bite-sized chunks and reviewing the output as opposed to saying, go build me a website or
Yeah.
go do this,
Yeah.
that, or the next thing. I think the other big risk, other than like trying to move too fast, is seceding your judgment, right? It's like, I've got a problem. You know, the number of people that are going to like ChatGPT for counseling right now is a little scary,
Yeah.
right? I think that says something about our healthcare system, why people can't get access or their personal pride of going to talk to somebody. But that's, I think, the biggest risk is like, I'm struggling, right? What do you think I should do? And trusting this stats model.
Yeah.
So that variation of like, I'm just going to turn my brain off because I don't want to do the hard work. I think that's the other big risk.
Well, and we've talked about that critical thinking. Are we had a whole episode, is AI making you dumber, just because using it, and they're finding more and more studies where it is. But I still go back to, but when's the last time you did like manual math, like heavy calculations like calculus or heavy algebra versus just pulling out your phone using your calculator? Is it being replaced and you're no longer going to need to know that anymore and you're going to focus on other things? Or is it legitimately now it's a crutch and I can't live without this particular thing?
I am so annoyed by that line of thinking. I'm glad you brought it up. It's like, we're all fat because we don't want to go out and walk.
Right.
No one's stopping us from exercising, right? Nobody's putting that candy bar in our mouth, right? It's the same thing with AI. Makes us stupider. Well, because you're using it stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it can be, to your point, a great teacher. Like, teach me about calculus. Teach me about whatever it's going to be, right? You can turn your brain on. That is totally a choice that we have. It's not the tool that's making us stupider. It's how we approach it, how we decide we want to use it.
Making ourselves dumber is what you're saying.
Totally.
Because we're letting it, I think is your point, where if you chose to exercise, the AI equivalent is you could choose to pick a topic and ask AI to give you a deeper dive and explain it in terms that you can understand. If you don't understand physics, my kids will do this with their homework. The AI isn't doing their homework for them, but it will help explain what you need to do to get to the answer. And that's the way to use the tool, is to help. It's great at dumbing things down, which is perfect for me because I'm at a kindergarten education level and mental capacity. But with AI, I can appear really smart, and except for on the podcast where I have to talk live and
It can't do that for you.
Sound really dumb. Yeah.
Well, yeah. All my emails sound incredibly intelligent,
Yeah.
but then you talk to me live, and it's like, oh, you're a little different than your emails. You send out.
And or even if you understand a topic but you're not good at creating slide decks, and I've been using this a lot lately, and it's not easy. Like, if you just want to put something in and have it create a bunch of slides, it will do that, but it's probably going to look like shit. And if you're presenting it in a business setting, they're going to see right through that. So you still have to really understand the content. But if you work with it long enough, you can create some pretty badass presentations, and it will create things in a way that you may not have thought of. Going back to, for folks that aren't creative and they want to have a great presentation, this can really take you to the next level. You still have to understand the content because that's what people really want to get out of it anyway. A nice looking presentation will keep people's focus. But if you don't know the content, you're still not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah. Or you generate, 50 slides when you needed 10, right? There's that judgment again. It's like understanding that. Yeah, it's interesting you brought up PowerPoints. We're doing a project right now, and it's for medical researchers. And they have to digest just massive amounts of academic literature and then distill it down to a research note and then turn that into a PowerPoint. And this is where I want to go with this. This is like the evolution of the tooling and the user interface. Because right now, like, chat's great, but it's like the lowest common denominator, right? Don't get me wrong, it's a great place to start.
Thanks.
Yeah. But what we're seeing is like, okay, now we've got like research agents where it's going out and finding, 20 academic papers. And then we have another agent that's distilling that down into a research note that the researcher can review. And then we're actually taking PowerPoint slides, actually masters, which are just, files, XML, you can manipulate them, sucking that in, and then they can create a PowerPoint from the research note. They basically create an outline and say, I want to include this, I want to include this, I want to include this, and then push a button and it produces slides. And so that entire workflow, it used to take a week to create one of these PowerPoints, and now they can do it in half a day.
Nice.
Right.
So that's a custom solution that you built. They don't have to go to ChatGPT, do deep research, extract that data, ask it to put it into a slide kind of format, then take that, drop it into Google Slides or Gamma or whatever they're using. Like now you were able to build an all-in-one thing that does the research and creates the slides all together.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that type of like automation is a big part of what we've seen over the last 12 months is building a custom user interface and some custom agents behind the scene to take that process. But I totally, going back to the prototyping, start with ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. I've seen all these successful projects where we've ended up turning it into like a custom software solution. Start with a prototype that was just done in ChatGPT or Gemini or something.
Nice.
Love it.
We got to wrap this up.
What?
Yeah, I told you these
started.
They go quick.
You said 4 hours. I don't like.
They can't be right.
It is.
Holy shit! I feel like we've been talking for 5 minutes.
I know. It always feels like about 15 minutes to me. It's like when we finally get on a roll, it's like we have to cut it. But yeah,
we're going to have to have you back. I feel like
we're going to do it.
I'd love to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're joking that it took a while to get me here, but you are not actually lying.
So yeah, we're going to start planning it literally 2 minutes. We're going to get you on the schedule again. Tell our viewers where they can find you.
Yeah. LinkedIn is probably the best spot. Brian J. Toll. There's actually another Brian Toll who works for Amazon. Same age, same industry.
Really?
Yes. Yes. There's only two of us as far as I know.
There's only one worth talking to.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, LinkedIn, Brian Toll. I'd love to connect with people there. And check out, I guess, two of the things I plug is Mutually Human, where we do this stuff on a daily basis. So mutuallyhuman.com. And then I'm also the chair of the Merge Software Conference, which is a regional conference here in Grand Rapids. So go search Merge Conference GR. And we are going to be doing, our theme this year is practical AI.
Awesome.
So very excited to connect with people. And we're going to be doing a call for papers starting January. So if people out there are like, yeah, I've got a great idea, would love to talk to people.
That's cool.
Absolutely. Send me a link. I'll throw it on the link too. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm excited that you were on here, and yeah, we'll definitely get you on again very soon, hopefully, pending schedules. If you like today's episode, please hit the like and subscribe, and let us know. Give us a comment of how you're using AI in your business. Thanks, everybody.